13. Trouble in the Tunnel. Did Worm just speak to me? Through his thoughts? Drake did not know what to think, but he had a feeling those words of warning had come from Worm. Drake, what's the matter? Anna asked. I'm not sure, he said. What would they think if I told them I just heard words in my head? Worm doesn't want to go. Fine, stay here. Be a big chicken, Rory snapped. I didn't say I was staying, Drake shot back. I'll come along without Worm. As soon as he said it, Worm crawled out of the cave. Look, he's coming with us, Anna said. Drake didn't hear any more words in his head. Maybe Worm had changed his mind. Rory led Vulcan forward. Let's get moving. They headed into the long tunnel that led outside. The torches on the walls weren't lit, and their candles weren't doing much to light things up. Khepri can light the way, Anna said. But before she could give the command, Rory cried out, Look! Drake craned his neck to look around the dragons in front of him. Then he saw it. A glowing red orb floated toward them. It grew bigger and bigger as it got closer. That looks like wizard's magic, Anna cried. But it is not Griffith's magic, said Bo. It feels scary. Just then Vulcan let out a loud roar. His big tail thrashed back and forth. Calm down, Vulcan, Rory yelled, but her dragon was very upset. Whack, whack! Vulcan's tail banged against the sides of the tunnel. His big body slammed against the walls. Khepri and Shu cried out. They both tried to turn back. Only Worm stayed calm. The tunnel began to shake. Dirt fell from the walls. The dragon masters all looked at one another. Run, Drake yelled, but it was too late. The walls caved in around them. Chapter 14. Trapped. Drake ducked as dirt rained down. He closed his eyes tight. Then the shaking stopped. Drake opened his eyes. All the candles had gone out. He looked behind him in the darkness. Worm, are you all right? Worm looked fine. In fact, he didn't have any dust on him. Everybody else was pretty dirty. Is everybody okay? Drake asked. Anna was on the ground. Bo helped her up. I'm fine, she said. That was scary, though. Rory walked over. I'm sorry, she said. I don't know why that weird ball of light made Vulcan freak out. Drake looked around. Thankfully, it's gone now. We should get back, Bo said nervously. Drake looked past Worm. The tunnel was blocked with rocks and dirt. I don't think we can, Drake said. The way outside is blocked too, Rory said. We're trapped, said Bo. He turned pale. Anna's dragon made a sad sound. It's okay, Khepri, Anna said, stroking Khepri's snout. Can you give us some light, please? Khepri opened her mouth, and a beautiful white ball of light came out. The light hung in the air. Vulcan is strong, Rory said. He should be able to push through the rocks. Vulcan was calmer now that the red orb was gone. He pushed at the rock wall, but the rocks didn't budge. Come on, Vulcan, Rory urged him. But Vulcan couldn't break through. Bo spoke up. I could have Shu blast through the rocks with water. Anna frowned. What if it didn't work? Then the tunnel will fill with water. Everybody was quiet. They knew Anna was right. They were stuck. Drake looked at Worm. Sorry I got you into this, he whispered. Then Worm's green eyes started to glow. A green light swept from the top of Worm's head to the end of his tail. Drake jumped back. Worm? He felt something warm in his chest. He looked down to see that his dragon stone was glowing too. Anna, Rory, and Bo's mouths dropped open. They stared at Worm and Drake. Worm's green glow filled the tunnel. Drake, it looks like your dragon's going to explode, Rory yelled. 15. Worm's surprise. Worm didn't explode. Instead, the dragon closed his eyes. Then the rocks blocking the tunnel began to shake. What's happening? Bo yelled. Is Worm doing that? Asked Anna. I think he's using the power of his mind, Drake said. He wasn't sure how he knew. He just did. Rory, Anna, and Bo stepped back. The rocks kept shaking. Then, poof, the rocks broke up into tiny pieces. Rock dust filled the air. Drake coughed, waving the dust away with his hand. All of the fallen rocks were gone. The tunnel was clear again. Drake hugged Worm. You did it, Worm. We should get out of here before Vulcan sneezes from all this dust, said Rory. The last time he sneezed, he turned my bread into toast. Rory's right, said Bo. Let's get out of here. Drake stepped through the pile of rubble and found himself face to face with Griffith. Simon the guard stood behind Griffith. You are all in big trouble, the wizard said. The whole castle is awake, and King Roland is furious. Chapter 16. Just the beginning. The group walked back through the tunnel in silence. 6 of the king's guards were waiting for them in the training room. One stepped forward as soon as they entered the room. King Roland wants a report, he barked. The dragon masters all looked to Griffith. He cleared his throat. Please tell King Roland that everything is fine, he said. The dragons tried to escape, but the dragon masters stopped them. But, Drake started to speak, but something about Griffith's look told him to stay quiet. The soldier nodded to Griffith. Very well, he said. Then the soldiers and Simon left. Drake turned to Griffith. But the dragons didn't do anything wrong, he said. Rory stepped forward. Drake's right. This was my fault. I wanted to take the dragons outside, she said. She turned to the dragon masters. I'm sorry. It was a bad idea. Agreed, said Griffith. Now tell me, how did you all get out of the collapsed tunnel? Worm saved us, Rory cried. Anna nodded. He glowed all green. It was amazing. And he turned the rocks to dust, Bo added. The wizard's eyes lit up. That's excellent. He grabbed Drake by the shoulders. I knew you could bring it out of him, Drake. Earth dragons have great power, Griffith said. Worm has been hiding his power until now. He glowed because he was using it. Is that why my dragonstone glowed too? Drake asked. No, the stone glows when you have a strong link with your dragon, Griffith said. The link is strong when you and your dragon can read each other's thoughts. It will happen to the other dragon masters too, in time. Drake remembered the words he had heard in his head. Thank you, Worm, he said, stroking him. You really saved us today. Wait, we forgot to tell you about the red ball of light, Rory piped up. That's what scared Vulcan. When it flew into the tunnel, he panicked and made the tunnel collapse. A cloud came over Griffith's face. Are you sure that you saw a red ball of light? All 4 dragon masters nodded. This is serious, Griffith said. Danger may be headed our way. Danger? Bo asked. Griffith patted Bo's head. For now we are safe. Let's all get some sleep. As Drake led Worm back into his cave, he felt a strong connection to his dragon. He wasn't going back to the onion fields. This was his life now, a life full of dragons and magic and danger. He was a dragon master.